All right. Believe we're on. I wanted to do this program away from my normal radio show. People on YouTube have been asking me where I'm at, what I'm doing, whatever. Sorry, I've been very busy, and YouTube hasn't allowed me to progress with my channel. Increase their bot has disfavored me. So even though I never have made any money, never tried to make any money, never have any commercials, never have any sponsors, never have any affiliate links, never have any of that stuff. That's probably one of the main reasons YouTube doesn't like me. So YouTube has decided to mark me down. But this show's never been about money. It's been about information. And I'm live tonight to get feedback for anybody who wants to talk about this, we're on the eve of a war, potentially. And love to have comments from people, love to hear what you're thinking, because a lot of other channels that do this podcast, they have so many subscribers that thousands of people comment for within a minute. You know, okay, let me see here. I have to open up. I'm not very good at this here. Moderation helps everyone. I don't need to moderate. No moderation here. So, folks, will come on and say whatever you want. I'll be saying a lot of bad words on this show. Words like Israel, Hamas, anti-Semitism, things like that. Things that YouTube gets triggered by. So let's see if they cut me off. So you're welcome to use those kind of nasty words in the comment section as well if you want to talk about this topic. So I want to open this up for the audience because a lot of you watch these other channels, these podcasts that give so many people commenting and so much going on, and the host can't anyway concentrate on just the comments. Let me see if I can expand this. Hopefully I don't cut myself off here. Nope, I guess I was expanding as much as I can expand. Okay, we've got a few people online here. We are to start off the bat right now, I'm not agreeing to this at all. Did you vote for war? I mean, if you voted for Trump, you voted for no war because he clearly said he was a non-war president, never get us involved in war. And here we already have been involved in, this will be a third war during his second administration. Yeah, you're going to have to count the first two as his wars as well because he has not stopped them. Ukraine, he could have stopped that with a phone call. He could have called and told, what's his name, Zelensky, no more weapons, no more money, good luck, bro, see you later. Stop the money, stop the weapons, that war would have been over on the first day like he promised. He didn't do it. I spoke negatively of China and got strikes for it. Okay. I don't really intend to talk about China much, but if you want to talk about China, we can try to talk about China. I don't know as much about China as I've been concentrating on this current future war, not the future war. Why do we need to get involved in these wars? I've said on this program so many times on my radio program, not so much on YouTube. And this is the kind of thing that will not only never allow me to be elected as a politician, but also might get me cut off YouTube. Hey, Donald Trump, I know you're watching. If you want to make America great again, here's what you do. Very simple, actually. Recall all the troops from overseas. Bring back all our military equipment from overseas. Bring them back here to defend our own country, because the only legitimate use of the military is for defense. Right? Anybody want to argue that? The only legitimate use for the military is defense. Why do we have military bases, 750 military bases roughly, in some 80-some countries? Why do we have that? Is this for defense? No, it's not. We have borders which we could defend, so bring all our troops home, bring all our equipment home, shut down all those 750-plus military bases, and make America great again. Do it over time, like a year or two. Don't do it like Biden did and just hightail it on a plane and then, everything's left there for the enemy to use for whatever they want to use it for. So do it responsibly. Get all our troops out. Bring it home. Guard our own borders. We've got a problem. You're so concerned. Hey, Donnie, baby, you're so concerned about our borders and how we're being invaded. Well, then that's you can have a whole lot of help. In fact, you want Doge to be successful? You can cut probably about, maybe $80 billion off the next budget by bringing all those troops home, bringing all our equipment home, because Now our military will be by so much smaller by necessity. You can still expand the military and still cut the budget by close to $1 trillion. That's going to help Doge a lot, won't it? So along with that, along with closing all our bases, bringing all our equipment and military personnel back home, here's what else you need to do to make America great again like you want to. You need to stop sending money to foreign countries. Yeah, and that includes Israel. Stop sending money to Israel, stop sending money to Ukraine, stop sending money to all the countries we send money to. We got a lot of problems here at home we could use that money for. Why don't you do that? That would be another step to make America great again. You want to make America great again? Then have the CIA mind its own business. Mind our own business. We don't need to be involved in all these foreign wars. Nothing that's going in Iran or Israel right now is a threat to our national security. Bring all our troops home, bring our property back home, close all those military bases, don't own them anymore, and then if you want to satisfy the industrial military complexes, they're going to be crying really loudly, allow them to build, manufacture weapons and sell them. Sell them, don't give them. Sell them to other countries that want to buy them. Let the world have its own wars. We don't need to be involved in it because we have been involved in almost every damn single war since World War II. It's about empire building. I haven't done a YouTube video on this yet. I might have to do it on Rumble because YouTube might just completely cut me off. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of Israel and to the empire for which it stands, one nation without God. And I haven't figured out the rest of it yet. Might include something like Raytheon and McDonnell Douglas. You can help me with the last part of that, but I need to make a quick YouTube video. Let's see. Crack Tower says no war for money. Yep. I said that. Say no to USA empire building. Yep. Well, as soon as Trump got in office, what did he start talking about? He didn't talk about during the campaign. He started talking about taking over Greenland and Canada, Panama Canal. Wait a minute. Where did all this come from? This is empire building. We want to make America great again, bring our troops back home, close all our military bases, stop sending the money, and mind our own business. That will make America great again, but it might take a few generations because after the last few generations, we've been destroying the world. There's no wonder the world is hating us because we've been screwing up the rest of the world. The U.S. has sanctions on approximately 1/3 of the world population right now. Remove all sanctions. Let the world do what it wants. Protect our own borders. That's the only legitimate use for a military. This is where your tax money is going. And we're trillions of dollars in debt. Let's see who else says something here. Thank you for your words of wisdom. Thank you, brother. Israel, the 51st state. I used to say the 51st state, but really, if you think about it in a different way, what it really is, if you think about it, because like I said, United States of Israel in my little I wonder if I got a lot of people, their pennies in a bunch by saying that Pledge of Allegiance to the state of Israel, to the United States of Israel. Because it's not really the 51st state, it's the first state. That's the easier way to think about it. Because anything Bibi wants, Bibi gets. Do you know who Bibi is? Bibi is the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. So, 51st state, but really the first state, because in fact, right now, I don't know, does anybody know if you want to put in here, maybe it's about 51, 52, how many senators, U.S. senators are Republicans? Because that would be the number that supposedly Trump would possibly have a vote for, a confidence vote for starting a war. Not that he's going to get the vote anyway, he's going to just do it whatever he wants, regardless. That's the way he does it. That's the way all our presidents, we haven't had a real war since 1940, 41, 45, ended in 45. That's the last time the U.S. was really at war. Because the Constitution requires you to get Congress to authorize a war. It's not done by the executive branch. It's done by Congress. But Congress will let you just do whatever you want. So how many Republican senators do we have in the Senate right now? The 100 senators, the 51, 52, something like that? Nobody seems to know. Okay, well, that's how many votes you'd have. Guess what? Bibi has about 80 votes in the Senate. Yeah, that's how much Israel controls our Senate. And Congress is very similar, a high percentage of Congress as well, much higher than 50%. Bibi has a higher vote. The Israeli Prime Minister has a higher vote than Donald Trump does. How do you say? Well, you look at AIPAC and you look at all the what's the word? I'm sometimes not good at this. Lobbyists that control Washington as far as Israel is concerned. Been doing it for years. How does this work? Does anybody follow this? Maybe I'm hoping I'm getting a lot of people. I'm teaching people something here and not just talking to the choir, because I'm trying to get people to learn. Because you're not going to learn a lot of this on the mainstream. You're not going to learn any of this on the mainstream media, really. The way that Israel controls and how it really works in this country is we send Israel money as aid. Millions and billions we send Israel, not only the weapons, but we send them actual money. Israel takes some of that money and says, well, how can we make this better? Gee, we'll take they're going to give us less. They're going to give us $100 billion this month. We'll send back a couple million and through AIPAC and bribe our politicians with donation money for their campaigns. A small percentage to pay it back to and to get political influence in a country that has the world's I don't know if we're the world's largest military anymore or the world's best military, but we spend the most money. So hey, Israel says, well, we could use that to our advantage. Let's take and buy off the United States. Such a tiny country, the size of New Jersey. And it's the first state of the United States of Israel. I'd like to see let's get in a conversation here. Let's get in the people who don't agree with me, which a lot of people do, you're only going to be able to disagree if you're watching it live, because I probably will leave this up, unless YouTube just cuts me off and then doesn't allow me to post it. I'm probably going to leave it up and put it on live, on the YouTube feed that people can see later, because I'm not sure what the best time to do this is. I usually only get about a dozen people when I'm doing my live shows here on YouTube. It used to be more. I used to get like 50 to 100 sometimes years ago, but this is before they deranked me. Thanks for the thumbs up. I guess that they say that helps the two people who have thumbs up me. Thank you. I guess that helps the algorithm, as if YouTube's going to allow me to be helped. But thank you. Oh, and there's a third one. The thumbs up, and we've got 6 people in the room. Yeah, so let's see. Let me try to get some more education, because I've been listening, because I listen to NPR, for God's sake, so I don't know. I wouldn't know what the hell is going on if I didn't look at alternative media, alternative means. Because the narrative is, we need to attack Israel, we need to attack Iran. Well, Bibi needs to attack Iran because they're developing nuclear weapons. Bibi's been saying this for more than 3 decades, that they're only like a year or months away or whatever from getting a nuclear weapon. Bibi he's not telling the truth. Of course, he hardly ever tells the truth. He's been trying to get us into this war. If you look at what Wesley Clark says, former, high-level guy in the service what was his title? All the way back to year 2000, 2001, that era. He said he saw documents or heard plans of the U.S. is going to attack 7 countries within 5 years. And if I don't get cut off here, I can actually look this up for you, because I'm hoping that a lot of people. Let me get the exact thing here. I'll read it to you here. And then I don't want a YouTube link, because I want you to watch a video here. This is from Al Jazeera. If it comes up here. U.S. plan to attack 7 Muslim states. Presidential hopeful at the time, General Wesley Clark, says the White House devised a 5-year plan after the 9/11 strikes to attack 7 majority Muslim countries. And let me find who those were. Former commander of NATO's forces in Europe, Clark claims he met a senior military officer in Washington in November of 2001 that told him that the Bush administration was planning to attack Iraq first before taking action against Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Iran, Somalia, and Sudan. What's the only country that we did not take those actions on that list? That would be Iran. So now it's Iran's turn. Okay, a lot more than 5 years. They're behind schedule. The CIA is kind of losing it, I guess. I wish they'd lose it completely. But that's what Wesley Clark says. Good to see you. Iran has the weapon that has had for years. Oh, yeah, well, it's an open secret that Israel has nuclear weapons, right? Wesley Clark, 7 countries in 5 years. Yep, that's the one I just read. I'm trying to keep up with the chat here. I might get a little behind, but I'm trying to keep, because I want people to engage here. I want people to chat here. I want people to disagree with me. If anybody disagrees, I'd like to see that too, because I'd like to counter with some of the things that I know, because I have been watching this very carefully. If you want to watch this very carefully, I'm going to put a shout out to another channel. I haven't paid anything to do this, any of this stuff. I haven't paid anything. There's a YouTube channel called Judging Freedom, Judge Andrew Napolitano. He has some of the best guests that cover these topics about the war and coming wars and our terrible situation we're in. Guests like Scott Rader, Jeffrey Sachs, Mearsheimer, General Douglas McGregor, lots of great guests on that show every day, every weekday. And high level people that should have the know that you and I certainly don't have. I don't have anybody whispering secrets in my ear. Okay, sorry, I must have said Iran when I said it meant Israel. I'm going to probably make that mistake on time here, but yeah, we're talking about. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm thinking we shouldn't be going to war. So I'm obviously going to be on not the side of Iran, that's the side of not being in the war. Let them have their own wars. Let Bibi do whatever he wants. Get us out of it. Call our troops back home. Get our aircraft carrier groups out of the region. Call our military bases out. Close them all down. Get everybody out. As it's none of our business. It has no jeopardy. Iran is not a threat to our national security whatsoever. Israel probably is, actually, at this point. Not so much our political system. We're in great jeopardy because of Israel getting us into this war, trying to get us into this war. Been a goal of his for decades. Move this camera down a little bit. What am I wearing here? Oh, I've never been there. I don't even know anything about it. I just buy junk t-shirts and wear them while I'm working. Let's see. I agree we don't know how to mind our own business. Or is business what we're after? Well, the military-industrial complex needs these wars. Political, the deep state needs these wars. What Donald Trump say he's going to do? He's going to drain us up and shut down the deep state. Well, it doesn't look like he's doing it. He hasn't gotten us out of war with Ukraine. Got to keep all these wars straight. Hasn't got us out of a war with. He got us into a new war with the Houthi in Yemen. Yes, illegally. That's highly illegal what he did. Attacking a sovereign nation. Bombed them for 30 days, roughly, and lost. Pretty comical. Well, there goes billions more of your dollars. And draining our stockpiles of munitions, which we already pretty much depleted with Israel and Ukraine. And well, how are we going to fight with Iran? Or China, if that does come along, while we're fighting Iran. How's that going to happen? Where's all these weapons going to come from? We're going to buy them from North Korea? Well, where are they going to come from? All our politicians need to go to jail. Well, one of the things they need to do, nobody ever goes to jail, do they? Even they take full responsibility. They tried to put Trump in jail even, and they couldn't even get him in jail. But tried real hard, tried to even kill him. But they tried to blame it on Iran too. Did you notice that? They tried to blame that on Iran. Well, if I was Donald Trump, the day I got into office, I would go in and have my top people investigate, open up all the files that was known about what happened that day when he got shot, find out who the hell tried to kill him. If they hadn't destroyed all the records, which they might have. It's like Kennedy. he could have released all the documents. He still refused to. Some of them may be gone, and they were apparently never going to know the truth about that, even though he promised to get to the bottom of it twice during both presidencies. He promised to do that. He didn't. Let's see. So where was I? Israel is not a friend of the U.S. Israel is a liability to the U.S. We're spending billions of dollars, and we're going to spend billions of dollars more defending this little postage stamp of a country that wouldn't even exist without us. Probably never should have existed in the beginning, going back to 1947, 1948, whatever year it was. Probably never should have existed before. Now, right away, a lot of people that are pro-Israel are going to say, well, he's anti-Semitic by saying that. Well, I didn't say anything about Jews or Jewish people. Talk about the country of Israel, the Zionists who run the country of Israel. It's anti-Semitic. They're trying to change the definition of words by saying things like, by changing the definition of anti-Semitic. So anytime you say anything bad about Israel, you've got to be anti-Semitic. They start trying to smear you. That's not what anti-Semitic is defined as. You ready for this? All you gotta do is look it up. Anti-Semitism definition. It's very simple, actually. Let's go to the first one on the search here. Anti-Semitism. This is from the Oxford Dictionary. It's very simple. It's only a few words. Anti-Semitism. Noun. Hostility to or prejudice against Jewish people. I didn't hear anything said about Hamas or Zionism or Israel. I didn't hear it. I don't see any of those words here. It's very short. Hostility to or prejudice against Jewish people. But no, we got to change the definition. That's what they're doing. You got to be shut up. And so again, that's why I say we'll see how long they keep me up and let me stay on the air here. Hopefully, I will be stay on, and hopefully, I'll be able to post this after I'm done. However long I'm on here, however long people want me to stay on. So, if you're watching this later, tell me how screwed up and how wrong I am, since I'm not getting the negative feed. I'd like to get pushback here. If anybody has it, tell me how I'm wrong. Now, I could never be elected by saying, "Bring all the troops home, don't get us into wars, mind your own business, stop sending them money," and make the lobbies illegal to buy off our politicians. That would be another good step. That would take a long time, probably. Then you can make America great again in several generations. Because it's going to take a long time for us to recover, because the world hates our ass right now. Turn the volume down a bit. Well, I probably talked too much here. What I can do, I thank you for telling me. Let's move this microphone farther away, but then I might be getting echoes. Not sure. And I got to prop it up because I'm going to go down. Let me know if this helps. I'm getting a lot of noise now, I'm sure, but I got to set this up so it doesn't fall over. Okay, see if that's any better. I had a problem with audio when I did some of these live streams. I'm doing it from a laptop, and the internal microphone was terrible, but I found these external microphones were doing better. Perfect now. Okay, thank you. Thank you for correcting me. It's very good to get this feedback. I got to learn what works here. Try to get all this off my chest before we go to war here, because you're not being told. You're being told some truth on the mainstream media, the legacy media, the CNNs, the ABCs, the BSNBCs, what are the other ones? I listen to that, and to find out what they're trying to force me to know, then I go and find out what the truth is, because usually there's not a whole lot of resemblance between what NPR shows, and that includes all the other networks. Fox too. Don't think Fox is exempt for some reason. A lot of people think Fox is somehow exempt from this. No, they're all trying to convince you that we need to go to war because of nuclear weapons. Iran and Russia will not allow Western banking. Well, that's a problem here, because maybe you're trying to get into the topic of What is the monetary thing that's being done between Iran, Russia, China? Throw the word out there if you know it. I'm trying to think of the word now. Trying to get the world, get part of the world away from the dollar, the U.S. dollar. Trying to trade in these other units of measure that aren't U.S. dollars. They're bringing our country down, and that's actually part of the plan. If you follow the so-called New World Order at all, weapons of mass destruction. I'll get to that here in a second. And I just lost track because I'm looking at the comment section. I probably shouldn't have said whatever I was about to say. It would have been real controversial. Maybe I'll think of it later. So I'll go back down to the comments. Oh yeah, I was old enough to remember the weapons of mass deception. Remember that? That's the exact same thing as almost the exact same thing. They're trying to convince us that Saddam has these chemical and he's trying to develop a nuclear bomb and it's dangerous and any day now and he's the threat to the world, and the threat to Israel is all it was. Weapons of mass deception. Same story today. Replay. Weapons of mass deception. Oh, Iran is going to get a nuke any day now, and they don't want a nuke. They really should, actually. And I don't doubt that they probably are developing some things behind the scenes that we don't know about, because they've enriched uranium to 60%, and it takes 90% to make weapons grade. They supposedly have enough uranium enriched to make about 9 to 10 nuclear warheads, depending on the capacity of the warheads. And but even if they could enrich that uranium to 90% within weeks, supposedly, if they decide to make a nuclear bomb. And then they have the plutonium, the weapons grade uranium. But that's not a nuclear bomb. That's only a small part of it. You have to develop a delivery system. You have to develop a system that withstands the pressures, temperatures, and of reentry and exit the atmosphere reentry. And there's a whole lot more involved. The guidance systems, there's a whole lot more involved in a nuclear bomb. It would take them, most people could think, about a year to develop that if they decide to. Now, they may have been doing some of that in secret. We don't know. The IAEA has proven that, has said many times, as well as, what's her name, the woman that's was one of the best hopes we had that turned out to be a disappointment in national intelligence right now. What's her name? Anyway, she even said in March that Iran does not have or have plans on having a nuclear weapon. But yet they're trying to convince us otherwise. Head of intelligence telling you on C-SPAN, in front of Congress, I guess was in front of Congress, that Iran is not developing a nuclear weapon. That you're not going to believe her? She's head of intelligence. You're going to... Trump has denied... she doesn't know what she's talking about. Bibi told me different. Trump has got serious mental issues that is going to get us into this war. People turned the current scientists, went to MIT, Caltech, etc. They are not stupid. Belt and Road Initiative. That wasn't what I was thinking of. That's not the term I was thinking of. Or was it? No, unless that's an acronym. I mean, BRI. No, I don't think I was thinking of. Sorry, my memory sometimes isn't great on some of these things, and I don't have notes in front of me. This is the only notes I made right here. That's the only notes I made. The CIA built and trained the groups. Yeah, the head of Syria right now is somebody we've called a terrorist and had a bounty for $10 million on his head. He's a part of Al-Qaeda. Bounty, and then all of a sudden he puts on a suit and tie, and he's now head of Syria, and he's our best friend. I wonder how that happened. Could that have been the CIA meddling again? If you look up CIA meddling, and it's amazing to see the list there's about 40 countries that we've meddled in and changed the regimes or overthrew a government or somehow stuck our finger in things and just messed everything up. We seem to think we can rule the world or police the world. We can't. We shouldn't. They're trying to. Every country we get into, we mess it all up. The country who may have had a semi-successful dictator before, we overthrow him or get him overthrown or kill him or whatever, and then all of a sudden they have a less functioning government. Making the world safe for democracy, they say. No, if you knew what a democracy was, we need to make the world safe from democracy. Our Constitution clearly states in Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution that we are a republic. But you don't know what that is. Most of you don't know what that is. They're trying to convince you it's a great democracy. Trying to convince you that Israel is a democracy. The only democracy in the Middle East. Oh yeah? Do democracies murder their subjects? And do they get equal rights? Do they allow them to vote? Do they allow them land property rights? Do they allow them equal say in courts? How is that a democracy? My country's being destroyed. And your country's being destroyed too. Unfortunately, we are putting up with it. The demonstrations are helpful, that we need more of that. And if we have to go to war, we can't win this war, by the way. I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me for that too. We will not win this war. The only way Bibi's going to win the war is if he fires a nuke. And still he won't win that war. Because Israel will still exist. Iran will still exist. I'm sorry. I'm getting screwed up. And sorry, yes, it probably will continue to happen. Yeah, we couldn't defeat the Houthi in a whole month of heavy bombing. How do you think we're going to defeat Iran or China or wherever we decide to go? Yemen is like the poorest country in the Middle East, one of the poorest countries in the world, with a ragtag military, which isn't even a military of the government. It's a rebel group. And somehow we couldn't defeat the Houthi. Now, Trump made it sound like, well, yeah, we got an agreement with them. They won't fire their ships anymore. They're still creating havoc. They're still firing missiles at Israel, not real recently, and they're still creating havoc in the Red Sea. So how did we win against the Houthi? All the U.S. had to do was stop firing at the Houthi, and they would stop firing at your ships. Duh. Donald Trump had to make it sound like he came across as victorious. He's always got to be victorious. Victorious got to be the art of the deal maker, and he's got to be the winner. He's not going to win this. Bibi's not going to win this. Iran has been preparing for decades for this eventuality. They have thousands of warheads, missiles. There's no boots on the ground these days. Wars aren't fought that way anymore. They could be, but it's going to be extremely difficult. Well, it's not like World War II. Boots on the ground don't work today. It's got drones and missiles right now. That's what the only thing that could work, and that doesn't even work. You can't take over a country with missiles and drones. You can't. You're going to have to put boots on the ground. And that's very messy and very deadly. So if you have to put boots on the ground, what's going to happen in this country? We're going to have a draft, aren't we? How's that going to go over with the minds of the American public? I don't think it's going to go over too well. It's going to go over pretty badly. Because if you want to take over Iran, you're going to have to put boots on the ground. You bomb the hell out of them for years. You're not going to conquer Iran without putting boots on the ground. That goes for us. That goes for Bibi. Not going to do it. Bibi is going to... He'll have to back down. Iran's not going to run out of missiles before Bibi does. Bibi's going to run out of our missiles long before Iran does. Iran's been doing some heavy damage. Check some alternative feeds, even though they have a blackout with Israel feeds. Check out some of the Iranian feeds. Showing you what's going on. Some of the other things that are going on. A lot of damaged buildings, but I'm kind of disappointed. I want to see leveled buildings. That's what they're doing in Gaza. I want to see some leveled buildings. I don't really want to see anybody die or get leveled, but Israel needs to get a taste of its own medicine. Iran hasn't attacked anybody. Israel has attacked everybody in the region, essentially. Just since October, what is it, October 7th, a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now, what has he's attacked Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, this Yemen already, Lebanon, Yemen, Syria, and now Iran. Who has Iran attacked? No one. Your nose is showing. That might not be. Yes, my nose is showing. And that may not be addressed to me, I'm not sure. So, Israel is a threat to the region, not Iran. And it's said, and I would have to get some confirmation on some of the things that the press has done to try to demonize Iran with, like, they're always saying death to America. Well, how is Iran going to attack America? You got jokes. Iran has limited people are talking to each other now a little bit in the chat. But I still encourage people to come on here. Iran's not a threat to us. Never has been. The only reason the U.S. seems to think they're a threat to us, that they want to portray them as being a threat to us, is because now the CIA, we don't control them anymore since, 1979, the fall of the Shah? Because now it's, them evil Muslims that are running the country now. Scared of the Muslims. And they're trying to convince you that we should hate all Muslims as well. They've been doing that for decades as well. Trying to convince you we should hate all Muslims. And that if you say anything bad about Israel, not Jews, that you're anti-Semitic. They're changing the definition of words. Iran has a limited amount of launchers. Well, of course, everybody has a limited amount of launchers. They're still lobbing hundreds of missiles each night for the last 4 or 5 nights. I haven't seen the news today what got hit. I don't know. But yeah, there's not an unlimited amount of launchers in any country in the world. They've got enough to get the job done, don't they? If Israel, and they've said to be, I don't know what the right number is because we haven't had any direct confirmation of this, 4 to 5 F-35s have been shot down by the Iranians? Huh. Did you hear that in the news? Start checking your feeds. I think today they were supposed to, I haven't seen the feeds yet, but today they were supposed to be, they had a captured American pilot, it might have been an Israeli pilot. Captured Israeli pilot was going to have to go on, they're going to get him to confess, propaganda tool, get him to confess on the air about where he launched from and some of the details about his mission of what he was doing, trying to attack Iran. There was going to be some kind of release for that. I don't know. I don't know if that came about today. Iran has a limited amount of launchers. I don't disagree with that. Every country has a limited amount of launchers. Every country has a limited amount of bullets. Every country has a limited amount of food. Every country has a limited amount of everything. So yeah, I certainly don't agree that. I do agree with that. Israel can sustain this for much longer than the U.S. can, or Israel can. I got to stop and think about the country I'm talking about here. They both start with I, unfortunately. Iran can keep sending these missiles for weeks and weeks and weeks, from what I'm hearing, the number they have. So we're not going to win this. If we get involved, we're not going to win this. Israel is not going to win, no matter what, unless they want to fire a nuke. And here's the thing about nukes. Not one F-35, that is a joke. Yeah, F-35 self-implodes, it's magic. I don't know the details of how they got destroyed or shot down or crashed or whatever. Maybe they weren't shot down. Maybe they just crashed. Maybe they jammed it. Maybe they sent an EMP blast. I don't know. I don't know what they did to them. I don't know if they shot them down or what exactly. But supposedly we lost. Well, I say we because they are our airplanes. We gave them to Israel. Gave them to Israel. How many millions of dollars each one of those planes cost? I could look that up too, but there's probably no point in doing that. Millions and millions and millions, right? I saw the pics. The people were as big as the cars nearby. Horrible Photoshop. Okay, pictures of what? Crashed F-35s, people, I'm not sure what you're talking about there, which pictures were Photoshopped. I don't know, with the age of AI, they can kind of make up anything they want. People will believe it. And they got to keep this propaganda where we're going. That's why you need to search out alternative information. If all this stuff I'm telling you is new, you haven't been paying attention, or all you've been paying attention to is BSNBC. You need to look further. And you need to look before the war starts, because if this war starts and too many people start uprising and protesting, they're going to have to shut people like me down, people like Judge Napolitano down. I'm trying to think of some of the other sites you can go to. I was watching a piece by Candace Owens. I don't agree with a lot of what she says, but she's right about this. Even the Young Turks is right about this with Israel. And I don't agree with what they say a lot of times. Redacted. A lot of times I don't agree with their conspiracy theory stuff they bring about with UFOs or whatever, but they have a lot of good information on there most of the time on theirs. There's a lot of good alternatives on YouTube. But if you think Ben Shapiro is the end all of the good information about Israel, you are propagandized up completely. I love to see when somebody puts Ben Shapiro in his place, or anybody else that talks up Israel as being such a great place that we need to protect and we need to send all our money and all our troops to die for them. No, that's not what I think. Everybody keeps underestimating Israel, but they keep bringing the heat. They prove time and time again their intelligence game is top notch. They have a great intelligence, no question about it. Then why didn't they know about October 7th? Why did Egypt know about it before Israel did? How did that happen? They were warned the attack was coming. Then they stood off for 6 to 8 hours before doing anything to stop the influx and the kidnapping and everything. They wanted this to happen. They knew it was going to happen. They wanted it to happen. And they instituted the Hannibal Directive before it was over to basically shoot everything in sight, including Israeli citizens. So yeah, a lot of that number of 1,300, a lot of it was Israeli citizens shot by their own IDF military. You didn't hear that either, did you? And all this stuff about rapes and beheading babies and all this stuff, it's all basically BS. Yeah, they kidnapped a lot of people. It was a huge prison riot, and they kidnapped a lot of people. Bibi doesn't want those people back. Not really. He wants to level Gaza. If he can't get any country to take the Palestinians, he's going to kill them all. That's his goal. He doesn't say that, but his actions very much prove that. He doesn't want to make a ceasefire. He doesn't want to give humanitarian aid. He wants to get rid of all the Palestinians. That's Jewish lands. Based on a twisted reading of the Old Testament, he thinks, and his Zionist compadres think, that from the river to the sea. Another thing the mainstream media tries to get to flip on you. That's what Israel's been saying. That's what people in Israeli government have been saying. The Zionists, from the river to the sea. They want to expand their territory. Look what happened. The West Bank, the Golan Heights, they moved farther into Syria now, destroyed a whole bunch of equipment, and then moved in as far as almost all the way to Damascus, trying to move into Lebanon. Jordan and Egypt are going to be next. But they're bought off and paid for by the U.S. so far. But their people are hot and furious with their governments. Their kingdoms are about ready to expire if this gets to the hot war between the U.S. Because now they're going to have to make a choice. They're going to have to make a choice. Their people are going to uprise. There are going to be mass protests. They're going to probably end up killing some leaders. Turkey is also another example. Big military that's going to get involved in this, going to have to, and they're going to have to make the decision too, because they're sitting on the fence trying to play both sides right now. Turkey. Why they can't? What is this? Did they change the name? Something happened there, or why does that? I keep hearing Turkey now. But no, Israel. Yeah, see, well, that saying something like that is anti-Semitic. Somebody on my program on the live call-in once called it the New World Order with the letter J instead of the letter N, and that would be anti-Semitic because you're attacking Jewish people, the Jewish religions, and that's the definition of anti-Semitic. So I disagree with that there, but that you're welcome to say it. I'm not going to cut you off. I keep losing my train of thought because I talk about something else and I got to do it in a different direction. I'm good at that. Yeah, the part of this, if you never heard of this New World Order, part of the idea behind this is a one-world socialist totalitarian form of government. That's the idea. Basically, worldwide communism where all countries are equal. They're bringing us down. They're destroying our country morally, financially. They have to get us to the level of everybody else for this New World Order to work. You can say that's just a conspiracy theory or whatever, but even George Bush Sr. said it some 25 years ago. Talk about his New World Order. Yeah, I don't hate Ben Shapiro because he's Jewish. I can't even say I hate him. I just wish he would quit lying to everybody and supporting a regime. Yes, let's call it a regime. The Israeli Prime Minister to try to get us into a war, spending my money to get into their war. Doesn't make any sense to me. Never did. But yet here we are. Trump is about ready to make the biggest decision of his entire lifetime. To war or not to war? That's the question. What's he going to do? He's getting it from all sides right now. So far, it looks like he's heading to war. He's heading us to war. He's certainly talking a lot of smack. Every tweet he does, he's vacillating back and forth. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Back and forth on this issue. He's tariffs. Well, I don't know, week after week, I don't know where we are with tariffs, for instance. After tweet, sure what he's doing, because he keeps going back and forth. Of intelligence. That's the way I was trying to remember her name. I had great hope for her until she started doing some things that weren't so great. She was like one of the few in his cabinet that could have made some kind of difference. She's only one voice. Have a nuclear weapon. Iran is not developing a nuclear weapon. And then Trump says, just yesterday, I think it was, or today, he says, oh, I don't believe her, or something of that effect. Well, wait a minute, that's your head of intelligence. Are you going to have to fire her now because you don't believe her? It's just intelligence you don't like. Because you played it up the very first tweet. Basically, we offered to negotiate, we tried to get a deal, and you didn't want the deal, and I told you 60 days, and now day 61, so now how many of you are dead? Negotiate, sorry, do what we say or you will all die. That's essentially what he said in that tweet. As he's had to backtrack that a whole lot because now he's realizing that, oh, well, Israel's in deep trouble here, aren't they? And so are we, if we decide to back this. Hey, Donnie baby, your bombs aren't any better than our previous cadaver-in-chief. They're not bigger, they're not better. It's the same military, same bombs, same planes, same missiles. But you think your crap smells better than everybody else. We got a problem with this guy. And we'd probably be in the same boat if it'd be a little bit different story, but we'd be in the same boat if that woman won the presidency. She was very much pro-Israel too, and Bibi wants this war, so Bibi gets his war. He has the votes in Congress, she wouldn't. Just like Trump doesn't. So, I could go on quite a bit longer here, folks, but I'm not getting any comments or feedback, and I don't want to make it real long if I'm just doing things off the top of my head. Let me talk about nuclear war a little bit here, because this is another thing the mainstream media has been drumming into you all of your lives, even my life, and I'm older. I remember duck and cover. Don't remember the Cuban Missile Crisis, but I was alive during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Cold War. I was around for that. And they kept trying to convince you, the legacy media, the mainstream media, kept trying to convince you that everyone would die in a nuclear war. And that's not anywhere near the truth. That's nowhere near the truth. I'll do some research a little bit on this. And here I'm the guy trying to solve radiation detection equipment online. And I'm saying, no, you don't need to worry about nuclear war. Not really. I mean, if you live in a big city and you're targeting that city, well, then yeah, you need to worry. But if you are worried here in the U.S. because of what's going on in Iran or Israel, that doesn't affect you. If nukes are blowing up in Israel and Iran, that won't affect you until Russia and China get involved. And they will. If there's a nuke that's get dropped, if the prime minister decides to send them in Israel, in Iran, then yes, then you might have to worry because we are backing them. Do I want Iran to get a bomb, a nuclear bomb? Well, maybe they should. I don't want anybody to have a nuclear bomb. But it's the most stabilizing thing we've seen since World War II, hasn't it been? Stabilizing in the idea that mutually assured destruction. If Iran had the bomb, multiple bombs, because Israel has more than one bomb, allegedly. If Iran had the bomb, I think that Israel would have to get along with its neighbors a little better, or at least that neighbor. Catch my drift? But here, no, nuclear war. The big cities, or if you're near a military base or a military target of some kind, okay, then you might be in jeopardy, but everybody else is not. Consider this. If every nuclear bomb that exists today from every single country on the world today was detonated at the same time today, that is less energy than one major hurricane. Whoa, process that a little bit. When was the last time everybody died during a hurricane? There's not much energy we're talking about here. Oh, but the radiation. No, think about this too. Process this a little bit. About 1,000 nuclear bombs have been detonated above ground, about another 1,000 below ground. I think if my numbers are correct, about 1,000 both above ground and 1,000 below ground. 1,000 above ground nuclear weapons have been detonated here on this earth since 1945. Are we all dead? Has there been a nuclear winter? Where did they set these bombs off? Well, here in the U.S., most of them are probably in, Utah, Nevada. Is everybody in Nevada? Did everybody in Nevada die? Did everybody in Utah die? Did they have to evacuate Arizona? Hello? Nuclear bombs have been detonated left and right by a lot of countries, including ours, without we bombed ourselves. Who died? The only people that died from nuclear weapons is the ones in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. Nuclear weapons aren't the major boogeyman that they've been taught to believe. Ooh, but the radiation. Well, again, if they dropped a bomb, if they dropped hundreds of bombs, I'm sure, let's say Nevada. Did they evacuate Utah when they dropped those bombs? Did they evacuate Arizona? Did they evacuate Colorado? Oh, but the plume, it'll come over and it'll kill everybody. Did it kill anybody? You see my point here, folks? Unless you're close to the blast, the people that will die will be the ones close enough to the blast. examine the radiuses. And that's another thing. Oh, but the bombs are 100 times bigger today, 1,000 times bigger. But the energy isn't. Because of atmospheric conditions, the energy of a nuclear bomb is dramatically reduced. So the ones that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki were damn near almost as powerful as the ones that we have today, even though the number doesn't make sense to you. Going from megatons to from kilotons to megatons. The destructive force isn't 100 times or 1,000 times more. It's more, but it's not what you're thinking it is. But the mainstream media has to drum that into your head all your life to think you have to fear nuclear weapons. They really aren't what you think they are. But the volume has crept back up again. Well, it's probably my voice because I get excited and I'm talking louder. Because I haven't changed the position of the microphone where you last told me. Hopefully it's not coming out distorted. I'm seeing a little gauge here, and out of these six little dots that's giving me for my volume, VU meter, I think I call it, only 4 to 5, when I yell a little bit, are being peaked. So my indication here is maybe it's not too loud, but maybe the microphone is distorting it. It's not the great microphone. I could plug in another microphone, but I tried that once and it didn't seem to make any difference. The microphone internally of this computer was pretty bad. So I'll have to apologize for the audio, folks. Yeah, nuclear weapons. I'm not fearful of nuclear weapons. Of course, I don't live in New York City or Houston or whatever target might be hit by a nuclear weapon. I'm definitely not worried about any nuclear weapons that are detonated anywhere else in the world. What I would be worried about for you, what I'm worried about, and I've prepared somewhat on this, but none of us can prepare fully for this, is for the grid being down. Because if a nuclear weapon is detonated in this country, and a lot of countries could do this to us, can take our grid down and take it out for years with EMP. EMP wouldn't kill anybody, not yet, but after about a year of not having electricity, about 90% of you would be dead. And that's mostly due to hygiene, not starvation or lack of water. Lack of good water, hygiene, bad water, no medicines, infections. This is how most people will die in a nuclear war. Very few people will die in the actual blast of a nuclear war, or die from radiation, or they'll be incinerated. A lot of people say, I don't have to worry about it, I'll just face the bomb and die. Well, you face the bomb and most of you won't die. Then you're going to be alive and not know what the hell to do. Because you believe what the mainstream media is telling you. You didn't study how to protect yourself and your family. You just didn't. You're believing crap. So I'm not afraid of nuclear weapons. I wish nobody had them, but I also wish, what are you going to do? You let that genie out of the bottle, how are you going to keep it? You're trying to keep the countries you want to keep out of it. Pakistan, I heard a couple days ago, has vowed to help Iran with their lack of nuclear warhead little problem that they have. Pakistan has offered to help them in case needed. Huh. Did we allow Pakistan to have a nuclear weapon? Apparently we did. India as well. We are the sole deciders of who gets to have a nuclear weapon when you let that genie out of the bottle. It's like somebody inventing gunpowder thousands of years ago and saying, oh, nobody else can do this. We're going to kill everybody that tries to make gunpowder. That's what we're talking about here. That's a good analogy. You got to stage with bows and arrows and throwing rocks and whatever, catapults. That's what they're trying to convince you of, that nuclear weapons are the end all, and we need to make sure no countries get nuclear weapons. Well, I wouldn't be upset if Iran had a nuclear weapon. They don't have a delivery system that could get it here, and it wouldn't do much damage anyway. It just doesn't. And the nuclear winter thing is a false too. Is completely false. Study a little bit. They're fear mongering you with this nuclear winter and everybody's going to die. I hate when even Scott Ritter does it. I hate when he does that because he's got such good information. Then he goes on that thing where nuclear weapons fly and we're all going to die. Well, some of us will die. But Iran can't invade us. Iran can, again, you have to have troops on the ground. Boots on the ground. And with today's day and age, with satellites, there's no way something like a D-Day can happen anymore, like it happened in World War II. We would know about it, any country would know about any kind of such invasion, troops massing, long before they could get any troops to your shores. You'd have plenty of warning. Unless you had no satellites. And if there's an EMP and we have nothing, then I don't know if our military today could fight a war without a computer screen in front of them. They're techno babies. An EMP takes it all out. I'm not sure we have a military anymore. They're all heading home to their families. Their computer screens are blank. What are they going to do? I'm a little cynical about a lot of things, folks, as you can hear. Okay, well, people were wondering where I was and what I'm doing and wondering if I'm okay. Well, here, I have produced a live show every once in a while to show people that I'm okay. So, as you can see, I'm okay. I still working on a major project. I'm still trying to get some heavy equipment fixed. It's so hard getting diesel mechanics out to my property to look at two. I had two engines replaced on two different vehicles. A 5-ton 6x6 Army truck. I replaced that engine myself, and I'm not a mechanic. Pull out the engine and transmission, replace the engine and transmission. Well, I saved the old transmission because the transmission was probably good because it was good last time I ran it. But the engine had very low compression and it had been set for 20-some years. This is a little detail that I'm probably going to lose a lot of people here on the live feed, but you stuck around this long. I put a new engine in that. But before I start that engine, I want to make sure somebody out there knows what they're doing. I don't want a runaway engine. I don't want anything happening because I may have done something wrong. I'll be the first to admit I don't know everything. I'm not a mechanic. I do what I can. Another crawler loader also, a John Deere crawler loader, 450B, 350 is a 450B crawler loader. New engine in it. Before I start that thing up, I want somebody there who knows what they're doing. Plus the timing has to be set, the injectors and everything, and I don't know how to do that stuff. I could learn all that if I had to. Maybe I'm going to have to because I've been trying to get this equipment fixed for like 3 or 4 years now. I had various mechanics out there, but mechanics today, they need to plug into a computer. Oh, your Gizmo gotcha circuit board is bad. You need to replace that. There's no circuit boards in this. We're talking about a 1955 Mac and a mid-70s John Deere. No computers exist for these devices. You got to be an actual mechanic. Come out there and, oh, okay, well, this hose and that pipe and this injector, and somebody knows what they're doing. Not look at a computer screen and say, oh, you need to replace a module. That's going to have to be ordered from Japan. No, this is old school stuff. Anyway, I need somebody to, if anybody's out there and anywhere near Michigan, I'll pay your trip out here. A diesel mechanic, come and fix this equipment to get my project started. A little too late to do anything this year, but I'm doing a lot of things. And I've actually bought some more equipment because this equipment's not working, and so I can get things done some other things that I need to get done. You already made the choice as soon as the carriers are in place, the strike will happen. Well, not really. Aircraft carriers deployed all over the world, and they rarely get used for their intended purpose. Sometimes they do, but I thought we already had 2 aircraft carrier strike battle groups in the Red Sea. I thought we had 2 in that area. Maybe one had to reload because they ran out of bullets. Yeah, they ran out of bullets against the Houthi. That's one of the reasons Donald Trump had to back off. They ran out of bullets. Oh, gosh. Is the military a joke today, or am I making a lot of people mad at that are in the middle of the service right now? Are you agreeing with me or disagreeing with me? Do I know what I'm talking about? Can China really break the back of an aircraft carrier pretty simply? Are aircraft carriers no longer a viable option in today's warfare? Unless they're carrying drones and missiles? And to think, and I could go on forever about Ukraine as well, but the whole Ukraine thing is bothering me because Russia says, oh, we can't have NATO on our back door. And same thing with the Cuban Missile Crisis. We couldn't have Russia on our back door in Cuba, right? And they couldn't have us in their back door via Turkey back during the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? Well, here's another thing, another food for thought, folks. All my lifetime, we have been at their back door, and they have been at our back door. You don't believe that in the last 70 years that Russia has had nuclear submarines in both oceans off our coasts? And you don't think that we haven't had nuclear submarines in the Arctic Ocean and their seas or anything that could access them? Those missiles can strike us in minutes. Same with the ones that we have pointed at Russia. So that whole argument isn't, you don't buy that argument. Unless we have a means of detecting where all these submarines are at all times, I don't buy this argument whatsoever about being on the doorstep and the thing with NATO and everything. That's not the case here with Iran. I guess I shouldn't have got off the course with Russia and Ukraine versus Iran, and we shouldn't be in any of these wars. We have no business being in any of them. Saving all our money, and this is just a bad situation. What's going on with the house? Well, that's what I need. I need to get this equipment fixed so I can get this house started. I've been doing other things. Today I built some shelves in a shipping container I got for storage. I bought 2 shipping containers, put on the property to store things, and I'm spending every day out there and working and doing all sorts of things, putting in roads and pathways and things. I'm doing a lot of work out there, but it's not building the house yet. So yeah, I need to build the house. So that's why I need to get this equipment fixed. One of the machines is just in the way. Well, they're both in the way, and they haven't run in more than 20 years. So the 2 that I put new engines in, and getting them onto a trailer to get them hauled away, to get them somewhere they can work on them, isn't feasible either. One weighs 52 tons. That's a different machine, though. That one is running. The other one is about 10 tons. I think the other 2 are both about 10 tons. And they're in areas where they're not accessible by trailers. They'd have to be winched out somehow. So it's just not feasible to get them moved. But yeah, thanks for asking that kind of thing. And again, I guess this show is kind of over. I'm talking about personal things here. If you came here to learn more about Iran and Iraq, or Iran and Israel, then you're probably not going to get any more of that because nobody else is asking much about it. So I guess I'll sign off now, folks. I won't make this too long. I thank everybody for joining in. For those of you who are joining late or that watching it not live, you can comment below and tell me how I'm wrong. I keep looking for pushback and I don't get it. I don't get the pushback. I must be wrong, right? Thanks everybody for watching. End stream.